You thought working for the king meant comfort, respect, and steady pay. Instead, the royal official points toward an empty wooden platform while your new employer stands beside you with a heavily bandaged wrist. Congratulations. You have just become the king's executioner's assistant. Only this morning you were sleeping behind the bakery because even the rats already had better housing. The city guards offered you two choices: accept royal employment or keep sleeping in the street. That sounded like an easy decision until the courthouse clerk smiled far too confidently while you signed the contract. Moments later, the largest man you have ever seen walked through the courthouse doors to collect his new assistant. The townspeople immediately stepped aside as your new master walked through the market. You assumed they respected him. Soon you realized they were actually avoiding him. His comfortable house stood completely alone outside the city, where nobody wanted to become his neighbor. The house itself seemed surprisingly pleasant. Warm meals, steady wages, and a proper bed almost convinced you that fortune had finally smiled. Then your first assignment arrived. Lift the enormous equipment chest that apparently weighed more than the rest of your career combined. While you carried the giant chest, your master proudly carried a single folded piece of parchment. That seemed perfectly fair, according to him. Your next assignment involved repairing crowd barriers across the royal square. Naturally, one of them immediately began collapsing. You expected dangerous work. Instead, you spent hours polishing buckles, sorting keys, and organizing endless piles of equipment. Then, your master accused you of losing an important key that was hanging from his own belt the entire time. Apparently, attention to detail mostly protected your supervisor. Every sunrise brought another impossible stack of work orders. Soon you were hauling rubbish, repairing locks, and carrying mysterious sealed crates through government corridors. Nobody explained anything. Everyone simply expected everything to be finished before lunch. A broken wagon, a runaway mule, and a dozen unexpected repairs became an ordinary morning. Oddly enough, people also began treating you differently. The royal badge on your belt cleared crowded streets faster than any city guard. For one glorious moment, you believed that meant respect. A pickpocket quietly returned your purse. An angry customer suddenly offered you his chair. Then, the baker refused to hand bread directly into your palm. That was the moment you understood. People weren't honoring you. They were avoiding you. Nobody wanted to sit beside you. Old friends waved politely from across the fountain instead of walking closer. Soon you found yourself standing completely alone in the center of the busiest square in town. The crowd had left an entire circle of empty space around you. Just when you thought the worst part was over, your master introduced advanced training. Unfortunately, advanced training meant paperwork. Mountains of paperwork. Every seal, guard list, and official record somehow became your responsibility too. Wrong keys, confused guards, and contradictory documents filled your days. Whenever something went wrong, everyone blamed someone else. Your master quietly reminded you that perfect paperwork protected important careers, mostly his. Before long, you could organize the workshop better than anyone. That impressive achievement earned exactly the reward you feared. A massive royal order arrived, carrying an enormous wax seal and an impossible deadline. Apparently, the ceremony would happen today. The entire royal square depended on your preparation. Barriers, carts, banners, and equipment all seemed determined to fail at once. Even the mule escaped with half the decorations attached to its harness. Meanwhile, your master continued supervising with remarkable confidence. Rain arrived, despite the official weather report promising sunshine. Wrong guards appeared at the wrong gates. Broken locks refused to cooperate. Somehow you still managed to prepare the entire square before the crowd arrived. Then everything changed because of one careless workshop accident. Your master's wrist ended up wrapped in a thick, clean bandage. You secretly celebrated. Surely the ceremony would now be postponed. Instead, the royal official looked directly at you. He asked how much training you had. Your master proudly listed every skill you had learned over the past months. Only then did you realize your own competence had become the evidence against you. The official handed you the ceremonial work bell. Thousands of people waited behind the barriers while you desperately searched for reasons to delay. You inspected boards, questioned schedules, and examined every tiny detail you could possibly invent, anything to buy another minute. You even claimed the royal wax seal looked suspiciously red. The official's patience disappeared. Then, just in time, a royal messenger burst through the crowd carrying a revised order. For one beautiful moment, hope returned. The ceremony was postponed. You nearly collapsed with relief. Then your smiling master placed a reassuring hand on your shoulder while the royal official prepared your promotion. You survived your first day. Unfortunately, next time, you won't be the assistant anymore.